This is Jerod Lakefield, a novel by Don Fensler, Part 5. No thanks. The second half, Jerod scored only 6 points, all on free throws. The rest of the St. Cloud State team scored a bunch. I don't want to tell you their names. It's a bunch of fucking Ryans and Heathcliffs and Tylers, your typical fucking white-ass names with a couple black kids named Tyrone and Julius thrown in for good measure. They have nothing to do with this story of Jerod Lakefield, nay, the fucking gospel of Jerod Lakefield. But I digress, and fuckingly annoyingly so. As soon as Jerod got the ball, Minnesota Tech would foul him, figuring giving him 1 point was better than giving him fucking 2 or 3. They stopped him from shooting. This was fricking pointless, as Jerod did not miss one free throw. And he passed the ball to his teammates, and they made shots. They missed a lot too, but they made shots, and we won 83-60. This was a team we hadn't beaten since 2007. This was a fucking upset, a fucking apocalypse now. After the game, there was a small story in the paper about Jerod's 36 points and our win, but it was basically like big fucking deal. Even I, who had witnessed it all with my own sweet, loving eyes, wondered if it might be a goddamn fluke. Fluke things happen in life, like the Titanic crashing into the Lusitania and sinking like a fucking stone, or the Japanese attacking and destroying the Pearl District in San Francisco, or Romeo and Juliet hooking up and living happily ever after. All big fucking flukes. So anything is possible. No one shoots like that, and there is no way in fucking hell we are a good team. After the game, we congratulated Jerod Lakefield, telling him, "Great game," and all that, teasing him, but he just said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." It was impossible to get to know this guy. He wasn't unfriendly, but it was like he lived in a fucking different world, like fucking above us, but he didn't act Justin Bieberish or Taylor Swiftish about it at all. It was cool, natural. We saw him on the basketball court, but nowhere else. He was not big or brash at all, you see, but he had this fucking weird fucking charisma about him. He walked into a room and you looked at him. He was not tall or physically impressive, but he took over every room he entered. It was like this light shining down from the fucking clouds type feeling, but calm as a kitten purr too. None of the other players resented him or felt jealous of his 36 points. We thought somehow, in our simple, dainty, minuscule brains, that we might have something special here, that we were about to be part of something special, but we didn't know exactly what it was. "Nice fucking game, Jerod," I told Jerod. "Thank you," said Jerod Lakefield, seemingly kind of cringing at my use of my favorite preposition word. And then he just walked out of the locker room without saying goodbye or nothing. The players and coaches were planning to go out and celebrate. He said, "No, thank you." As coaches, we could have insisted, but somehow this Jerod Lakefield dude wasn't the type where you insisted. Second game. I wondered what would happen with the second game with Jerod Lakefield. Our first opponent had been a fucking mediocre team, and we were trying to overcome our reputation as a fucking doormat Division II school, and in a league with a reputation as one of the freaking weakest Division II schools in the history of mankind and womankind put together. As I mentioned, Jerod's first game had not exactly been featured on the top 10 plays of ESPN fucking Sports Center show. There hadn't been much publicity about Jerod's first game at all, even locally. All of us who fucking saw it were still slightly in a daze, to be honest, but everyone else was oblivious and just gave that fucking polite nod of the head and the fucking, "Oh, really? Uh-huh, oh-ho-ho-hum, fucking leave me alone, I'm busy," expression on their dainty fucking faces when you tried to talk about it with someone. Probably most people who saw the 36 points in the agate were not that impressed or thought it was a misprint. They especially probably thought the 30 points in one half was a big fucking misprint. After all, we were fucking tiny St. Cloud State. So our opponent, Washington Heights Christians, was probably not shaking in their boots, fucking boots, or Crocs, or whatever people from liberal-ass churches, schools wear. They were 13-12 last year. Not bad, not good, but a hell of a lot better than us last year. The game started. There were probably less than 500 human souls in the stands, and then when the game started, there was no double team on Jerod Lakefield, so they obviously did not read the fucking agate in the newspaper. It was my keen, insightful fucking observation they did not know him. Jerod Lakefield did not seem particularly offended. He seemed fucking detached from the whole fucking game. In fact, he just kind of hung around on the court for the first 5 minutes of the game. But to be perfectly blunt, I did not care. We were fine with his sleepwalking on the court, as we were leading 12-6, a good start. I almost forgot Jerod Lakefield was on the court. Then 7 minutes into the game, things started to go fucking south of the border grim. We were being called for ticky-tacky fouls, had 2 guys with 3 fouls on them, and all of a sudden, Washington Heights couldn't miss. 10 minutes into the half, and we were down 24-16, and things were going south faster than a Mount Everest mudslide on Sunday. We called for a timeout. Jerod had no fucking points at this time, the bastard, with less than 10 minutes to go in the first half. I was beginning to notice him because I was hating his goddamn guts again for disappearing from the court. He was there, but his life was totally pointless, a total waste of space and time to me because he had no points in this game. A guy who scored 30 fucking points in one half of the last game. We yelled at our players, kind of avoiding looking at Jerod or directing our ire at him. We even used foul language at the others as we fucking harangued them, God bless our souls, basically saying in a fucking nutshell, you fuckers are fucking stinking up the place. I suddenly mustered up my courage and said, in a heroic gesture, to Jerod Lakefield, you gotta step it up, buddy. The awkward fucking deafening silence made me hate his goddamn guts even more because I felt very uncomfortable and strange chiding Jerod Lakefield, a mere fucking player. Me, the coach, feeling fucking sheepish about wimpishly chiding one of my own players for poor play. That was my job, my fucking meaning for being born on this earth. My face burned crimson red, and Jerod Lakefield that Jerod Lakefield had done this to me, turning me into a wimp as weak as a retarded leotard salesman. I glared, seething like a fucking Indonesian volcano at Jerod Lakefield. Jerod Lakefield looked passive. He looked so calm. Did he not give a fucking damn? That bastard was always so calm. I wanted to squeeze his fucking head in a vice and eat his balsa wood brains for dinner. And I hadn't even thought of dessert. I was feeling this excruciating mishmash of anger and embarrassment that I wouldn't wish on my worst fucking enemy. End of part 5.